Hello and welcome to the Psychology Diary podcast where we talk about everything mental health. In this special episode, I'll be introducing to you Karen. Karen is a social worker that focuses on substance abuse, mental health, and other things in this field. He works as a social worker in a primary health care office as well as a therapist in couple private practices. He's a huge advocate of mental health and self-care, and he helps people to find their passion for self-care.
How are you?
I'm great. How's everything going?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
This video, no problem.
Okay.
Great. So how's the week been?
Not too bad. Yeah, it's been a long week, but I'm currently in school, so I just finished my last assignment for the quarter, so that's nice.
Okay. So what course are you currently studying?
I am studying social work. I am getting my doctorate in social work.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. So how has life as a social worker been so far?
Not too bad. It's been a little bit crazy since COVID. I should say a little bit more crazy since COVID, but for the most part, it's pretty good. I do a lot with substance use. So anyone that is using any sort of substance, I try to get them treatment. And I also do private practice. So I'm a therapist as well. So working with anyone from depression to anxiety to couples, families, individuals. So that's been increasing a little bit more just because of everything that is going on and everyone's having so much like anxiety and things like about the state of the world.
Okay. Great. So has your workload increased since the COVID started?
So what I would say is it decreased when it first started. But since restrictions have been lifted a little bit more, it's definitely increased. I would say probably within the last like 3-ish months, it's increased a little bit more, just because more people are willing to leave their house to come to the office and do therapy, um, or go to a facility and get that treatment that they need. And it's really it's been really rewarding because I'm seeing these effects that people are having and seeing the effects of getting them sent to somewhere. That's been really helpful.
Oh, great. So has this in any way affected your mental health? Has your mental health improved? Has your mental health kind of like shifted dynamics a little bit, or you being able to experience growth? Has there been growth? How has your mental health been generally since the period of the COVID started?
So mental health, I would say, is since COVID started has definitely increased for a lot of people. It like that is one of the biggest things that we talk about, and with a lot of my clients is the first thing I ask, how are you doing with everything that's going on with COVID, with current political climate, all of that. Like how are you doing and how are you holding up? Um, and we talk about some of those anxieties that are coming up, or some of the depression that they're feeling because COVID has decreased their hours at work, or they know someone that's gotten COVID and they're trying to they're trying to be supportive of them and work with them and help that out. Um, I know I've been seeing a lot of studies that have been talking about how mental health and like substance use have increased since COVID, because one, we're isolating, or quarantining, so a lot of people don't have someone else that they can go to be able to have that social interaction, which is super important when it comes to mental health, especially with depression. Like when you're isolating, you're most likely pushing yourself deeper and deeper um, into that time where you just don't want to talk to anyone, and this COVID stuff is not helping that with those particular clients. I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, I think it was my man in terms of taking care of our men, in terms of God taking care of our men.
Like spirituality and religion. Um, I know for me, whenever I talk to patients about things, one of those things is like spiritual self-care. So we talk a lot about doing things that bring about that something that is higher than you. And again, that I do believe that does include working through stuff that is bringing religion and mental health together.
Okay,
Um, so, so yeah, I definitely do think that there is a correlation between the two.
great, amazing. So can you please explain to me more about substance use and how is important to you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Can you explain to me why is substance use important to you? Because I think nowadays people self-medicate. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
People do take a lot of drugs, and these drugs probably are not prescribed by the doctor. So
Right.
people tend to abuse drugs a lot, and this
Mm-hmm.
greatly affects the mental health of people. So how important is this to you in terms of your career? Do you advocate for it? Do you go to seminars? Do you teach at seminars about it? And how important is it to you generally?
Yeah, so actually, I don't teach any seminars, but I do go to a lot of like conferences and things like that that specifically deal with substance use and mental health, and um, I mean in particular substance use in a primary care setting, so a doctor's office, because that's my main job right now.
Uh,
So um, so yeah, it's really important because it's something that can affect your entire life. So you're not just affecting, say, your mental health, but also substances can affect your physical health, the medical diagnoses that you have. It can affect how you're interacting with other people, how you're feeling about different situations. And you're right, a lot of people do self-medicate with substances because that's how they know to cope. That's why it's really important to, when we're working with someone that has substance use, we talk to them about what do you do for self-care? What do you do as coping skills when you are feeling upset? And if substances is the most pertinent thing, that's when we have to sit down and talk to them about, okay, so this is the some coping skills that we need to look at, and um, try to use these as that coping mechanism instead of going directly to the the substance. But we also have to worry about or think about harm reduction, and not just saying to the client, you have to completely stop this substance, because as we all know, it's not that easy. So we want to make sure that we are talking to them about how can they reduce their harm, instead of just completely stopping cold turkey, because that's also not healthy.
mm, okay. So have you had any encounter with a patient? Has there been any personal encounter you've had with a patient, a one-on-one encounter? Probably the patient is suffering from a bipolar disorder or autism or ADHD. Has there been a personal encounter you had with a patient recently?
Um, so yeah, so I deal with a wide variety of like diagnoses and things like that. So off the top of my head, I can't think of like any one person that I have dealt with because most of the time it is the same kind of the same thing coming through. So some of the same goals we're looking for towards working towards, as well as trying to think about how can we work together, especially within a couple. How can we work together to meet these goals?
Okay, okay, okay. And what's your opinion about mental health stigma?
Oh yeah, so that the stigma with mental health is so huge. Um, the that's the one thing that really got me into mental health and substance use because I want to be able to normalize people being able to talk to their providers, to their families, to their friends about these things without feeling as if they are being judged or being um, they're not that they're less of a person because they're using these. And I think that that's really important as a mental health clinician that you provide that open space for everyone to feel that they are able to talk to you and without judgment and putting your own biases aside to help that person through whatever it is that they're going through so
Oh,
that they can get to that point where they're able to it is normalized and it is something that they can just openly discuss
okay,
if they want to.
okay, okay. Um, did your passion for mental health happen early in your life?
Yeah. So I've always I always knew I wanted to help people. It wasn't until probably my senior year of high school that I knew that I wanted to go into like, actually mental health. Um, so I originally I think I wanted to do like be a teacher or a lawyer or something like that.
Okay,
And then I took a psychology class and a sociology class in high school and really fell in love with those and decided in college like that's where that's the way that I wanted to go. And then
okay,
it wasn't until my senior year of college that I decided, oh, let's go into social work because you can do so much with social work. It opens up so many doors and opportunities, and it's not just like clinical, but administrative, behind the scenes type things as well. So there's a wide variety of things that you can do with social work.
okay, okay. So, what do you think there's a relationship between social work and mental health nursing?
Yeah, I definitely think there's a relationship between social work and mental health. Um, Again, I think we have like social workers have this generalist knowledge where we are able to look at the entire person and not just like maybe just looking at that mental health portion or the physical portion or anything like that, but we look at the whole person as their problem are going on, their issues, and seeing what in their life we can work on to help whatever that issue or that problem is.
Okay,
And we meet the person in their environment, so We don't force them to do something that they're not comfortable doing, and we meet them like where they are, either that be physically or emotionally, mentally.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever been in a difficult situation in your life?
In terms of,
Probably uh, growing up as when you were growing up, have you been in situations where your faith was being tested? Like, I need to help this person, but he doesn't want to open up to me. How can I, or how can I get through to this person? How can I break the barrier that he's trying to form around me? He's obviously going through a mental health issue. He needs help
mhm.
from me. So how can I
Oh
break the
yeah.
barrier? How can I enter him? How can I speak to him and he can open up to me so I can help him go through his mental health issues?
Gotcha. Oh yeah, absolutely. That is, I mean, that's actually kind of like an everyday thing. Because especially you when you're just meeting someone for the first time, you don't have that relationship with them yet. So it really does come down to thinking about how can I build this relationship with them as quickly as possible, especially within like the primary care practice that I work with. I have to forge a relationship with some of these clients as quickly as possible so that I can make sure that I'm getting them the most adequate care as soon as possible, um, so that it doesn't come down to we're 3 months into us working together and we still don't have a solution to whatever it is that they're dealing with. Particularly with substance use, we have to make sure that we're building that trust, building that relationship with our clients so that they feel comfortable enough to actually sit down and talk to you about these particular things.
Aaron,
Hi.
yeah. Did your family have reservations about your line of work? Were they supportive of you? Did they give you the go ahead to carry on with you being a social worker?
Oh yeah, my mom is actually also, well, so she's in the helping profession, in social services and mental, or excuse me, social services and the medical field.
Okay.
Um, my little sister is following in my footsteps as well, and she's going into the social services section as well. So yeah, we've all been super supportive of each other.
Okay. Great. So, what are three things you want to be remembered for?
Hmm. So I want to be remembered for being someone that has made a difference, um, either that be in the social work world, that be in my personal life, just making a difference to someone, some group, um, to where they feel that I have been helpful. Um, let's see. I think just being remembered for being a nice, kind person, a caring person, especially especially in this time right now. We need a lot more kindness and a lot more um, compassion for different situations. And hmm, I think just again, like for me being like I being known as a genuine person, someone that has is the same person throughout um, all interactions with people and genuinely cares about the well-being of different people, no matter what their background is. You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at The Karonicle, and that is TheKaronicle. You can also find me at Snapchat, which is Karon SB, KaronSB, and
Okay.
at my blog, which is thekroniclepodcast.blogspot.com.
Great. So you write mainly about mental health, right?
I do write about mental health. So my blog is just a random assortment of things, my blog and podcast. But mental health is one of those things that comes up very frequently.
Okay. Okay, great. Amazing. Okay, Karon, enjoy the rest of your day. It was really nice having you.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you for having me.
All right. Have a nice day. Bye.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye.